mentorship, right? And so let's go back to the mentorship program, right? Where do we come in, right? We help people make this jump from E to B who don't know how and don't have the right capital, right? Because like if you have a great idea and 6-7 figures, you can do real estate, you can do investing. Otherwise, you can make some money on and off. But to be able to build it out to the point where you mentioned before, or to the B quadrant where you're making that 6-figure portfolio to go home, would involve a high level of capital, right? So we're a mentorship program. We help people make that jump. How? By more books, more associations. Why? Because the more books you read and the more people you associate with, that determines obviously where you're going in life. For example, I love, again, my family, you know, but unfortunately they come from here. I knew I had to learn from here. But also that's great. Matthew from today, you can't say, okay, well, just give me more books, right? It's always about applying knowledge. Because what are you gonna do, go back to your job? Right? You can say, oh, from tomorrow, I will think the best B quadrant way ever and go back to your job, right? Obviously, there's a business platform. There has to be some application to that, right? And so in deciding that, yeah, we chose a platform, which honestly speaking, individuals were low cost, right? Scalability. I knew what it was like to have businesses in California, right? I knew what it very, very, very high operating costs, no matter how much money you're making, right? I knew I wanted somewhere where I can get some mentorship and guidance, right? And that's why I chose this platform, right there. So we leverage a network marketing platform. But of course, under the B quadrant, we have a mentorship program where on the front end, we help people move from left to right, by helping them build their leadership, right? Their habits, right? So that's the whole point. So this is actually one of my favorite slides, right? Because as some of you guys have mentioned, there's a deeper reason as to why you guys want to get here. And you know your job can't get you there. Maybe not. Why? Not because your careers are bad or not because my career was bad, but because I'm always trading my time for money. That gives me security. The minute this time equals 0, this bubble's gonna keep shrinking. So what happens is a lot of times is that, even for me, when I go back to saying I had entrepreneurial tendencies, I think more so I had life-centric tendencies. I wanted to buy my life back. I wanted to be able to spend more time with my family. I wanted to be able to travel more, you know? And just for the sake of time, you know, I want to just kind of move forward, right? So what happens is that this is the circle. This is the same size circle. Why do you think we shrink our dreams and goals? And a lot of times people use everyone's favorite C word, which is CONTENT. So I think once I understood that, that's what really made me realize it was the causes that I think this program, this association aligned with. It was the fact that I could see multiple examples of individuals who went through the journey to have these different things. Where I saw, okay, well, alongside my job, I can work towards getting to a point where this no longer becomes an issue. All right, Erica, you have a question? Go ahead.
I wanted to comment on, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to comment on your note of contentment here and how we get stuck there, minimizing our assets and contentment. So I found myself like that. I was at a company that I still value right now. I'm not there currently, but I still value them. And I was content, but with the idea that there was room to grow, that at some point someone was going to be like, Erica has poured in a significant amount of her time, you know, for our dreams. So let's get her to a level where now, you know, it's her dream of sorts. So is that possible where, you know, you're in that B quadrant and that B turns into your asset, that turns into your investment?
Absolutely. No, and absolutely. And when I say the word content, I don't mean content in a negative way. I think that what I have realized, right, and this is just based on personal experience, right, is that, you know, I could have seen myself saying, okay, maybe I do think that if I chose this consulting role, I'd work 70 to 80 hours a week. Maybe that would be a lot. Maybe I would start thinking about my life goals. Maybe I start thinking about my family. Maybe I start thinking about my friends. And then maybe I could look back and say, well, you know what? Things aren't going too bad at work. I'm good because of security. I could be like, no, I love what I do. I'm content. I'm happy. I love what I do. But you can't love what you do until you can get to the point in time where it doesn't matter if you're getting a paycheck from it. That's what I grown to love through this program. That was the definition of true passion for something. Not saying that if you don't, you're not passionate, but I wanted to make my career choice. So hopefully that answers your question, Erica. So this is the model. This is generally the model of today, what people generally do today, right? Femi, let me ask you a question.
Yes,
can you hear me, Femi?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Where do you currently work? Or do you currently work for an employer? I know.
Yes, I did.
Okay. What's the name of the company you work for? If you don't.
It's a bank. It's a mortgage bank.
We'll say bank. Awesome. Yeah. Right. And when you go shopping, you do your grocery shopping, where do you usually go? Are you Walmart, Target?
Yeah, Walmart, HEB.
Okay, I'll just say Walmart, right? Okay, so would it be fair to say you work generally 40 hours a week?
That's correct.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that you generally get paid maybe twice a week? I mean, not twice a week, but twice a month?
So that's correct.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that you work 40 hours at bank, get paid twice a month, you go to Walmart, you get certain products, you come back and repeat this? Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that when you are working for the bank, you're building the bank's asset?
Absolutely, that's correct. Yeah, I'm building it. Yeah, I'm building the bank's assets. Yeah.
Okay. When you're putting money that you get paid twice a month, right, to Walmart to get, let's say, shampoos, multivitamins, deodorants, soaps, maybe sports stuff. I don't know if you work out, right? Would it be fair to say that you build Walmart's asset? Help to build Walmart's asset?
That's correct.
Okay. So then where's yours, right? Like where? Because, right, you're adding value, you do it, the law of value, adding value, right? And even me, I screamed, again, a lot of screaming through this process. I don't know about you guys, but that was the biggest thing that I realized. So this is what I'm talking about. Same thing. Keep your job, 40 hours a week, maybe the next 2 to 3 years, asset or the income you're making, right? But the whole purpose here is to use your non-productive time to start working on yourself. And that's where reading comes in, self-improvement, association, community of other entrepreneurs, other individuals. Again, you guys are here on a Tuesday night instead of somewhere else on a Tuesday night. I don't have to say that, right? Improving leadership skills, learning how to build team, learning how to become somebody who can build certain things instead of this time for Instagram, right? Or Facebook, or TikTok. And at the same time, redirecting your buying location. We have a partner store through the company that we collaborate with named Amway, where because this is happening on a month to end, what they do is they do profit sharing. That's your first asset. It's redirecting your buying location, which means start going to things such as budgeting. Starting to tell your money where to go rather than wondering where it went. Time to start curbing impulse buying, right? Who wants to raise their hand and say, last time they went to go get some gas, they ended up getting, a piece of gum, some candy, some chips, some cookies. 400%, they say 400% more than what you'll buy usually, right? And so we're helping to curb that. That's how you build your asset. The same thing gets duplicated amongst more and more income happens. And we'll go into what that looks like, but I wanted to give a high level understanding of how we build an asset. We have our own partner stores, right? And I wanted to share a mindset here, right? Because I think naturally what I think somebody would think, right, would say, okay, well, according to the cost ratio, this versus this, I think this would be a bigger bang for buck. Or if I go to Costco and I get more of this and I get more of that, it's a prosumer versus consumer mindset, right? We're trying to make this jump from E to B. So my mindset had to shift. I had to say, okay, well, let me think about the different brands that this company has. Let me think about my willingness to get out of my comfort zone, to exchange my buying location, to try some of these. Maybe this might add a certain value for me, in which then not only am I obviously benefiting, but I've also learned how to budget my money. I've also learned how to redirect my buying location. I think it's better than coupons. What do you think? So this is the company, Amway. Who's heard of Amway? Erica, you've heard of Amway? Tell me a little bit more about your experience.
Okay, I just heard of it because of my engaging partners, but I have had a couple sets of engaging partners here, so I learned something different in each meeting. I think this may be like my 4th or 5th meeting here. So Amway, like you said, they're a provider of products where, you can pay yourself to shop, basically, is my understanding.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Anyone else? Who hasn't heard of Amway? Who was like me?
I had heard of Amway, but on a negative connotation because of their network marketing platforms. A lot of people basically became part of the network, but they were using it as a quick money. They raised negative outlines about Amway, and Amway, it's in some instances, in some cultures, is related to a negative vibe of what it does. Although we haven't changed our mindset and we're still consumers, we're still consuming their products, we're still products that are like their products. And the reality is, at the end of the day, we haven't changed anything. We're just basically changing where we buy stuff.
Absolutely. Exactly. And as you can see here, right, you go back to the ESBI, right? 99.9% people you're going to see leverage a platform, because all this is it is just a economic platform, right? That's like if Apple came today and said, hey, you know what, Walmart, Target, you guys want to contract out and distribute my computers? Great. But what if someone said, hey, Walmart, how dare you? Target sells it 10% cheaper, you animals. Now, because of that, Apple's terrible. No, that's how people leverage their platform. We are one of the people who, the 1%, who leverage it more on using it to help build leaders, build teams. It's always going to be based off of your own compensation. It's always going to be based off of your willingness to grow and add value to yourself. And the biggest thing that I realized here was that, yeah, from a company standpoint, the numbers are the numbers, right? $8.4 billion in sales. The way that I heard of Amway was actually because of through the Orlando Magic. I had played basketball growing up. I had known that the Orlando Magic was Amway Arena. I was like, oh, cool. That's how. Okay, great. So I think it's always a humanistic behavior thing. I think it always goes back to, for me, I realized it kind of goes back to, well, what were you looking for at that time? Because I always feel like you attract who you become, right? It's like if I was looking for individuals who are going to help me gain clarity, then I was naturally going to find individuals who can leverage a platform that aligns with my principles. If I am looking for money, then only God knows what I'm going to find. And that's what I think I kept realizing. Now, as much as I could say that this person or that person, at some point in time, it's like I had to look back and say, when had anyone ever helped me go through my goals in that way, or who had helped me get to a point where I can gain the clarity necessary? So I think that went back to that independent decision making. It's always going to be a people thing, a principle thing. So certain people, like even for those people, I have no problem. Anyone who's going to fight for their freedom, kudos to you. That's just not how we do things here, right? So just, again, an ability to be able to build businesses all over the country, right? Or all over the world, actually, right? And ultimately speaking, this is we are a company who has a relationship with Amway from just the economic side. They take care of legal things, so on and so forth. But we are Atlantis Leadership. We're the mentorship program. The ones that are going to help you to identify which books, right? We have a mobile app. We have different audios where you can be able to learn on things such as mindset, habits, skill sets, different conferences. All right, we have a conference coming up in April. We have another one. We have 2 virtual conferences and 2 in-person conferences. So association is very important. Coaching and mentorship, and obviously a support system, right? So at a high level, right? Great, they're our economic provider. They take care of all legal things, right? Take care of all scalability aspects. But that's where our relationship stops. Because if you come back and say, I have a life problem, I have a relationship problem, I have a health problem, as a provider, they're just going to say, hey, I have to care about my turnover. We're the ones who care about that aspect, right? That's why it's always important to add value to yourself. That's who you're going to duplicate, right? So at a high level, I'm just going to go into how income is made, right? I told you before, it's being able to exchange your buying location. Get to a point where you're at 150 PV. Roughly, I've seen that's about anywhere between 500, maybe 600, dollars, right? And again, no one's telling you to go, take money and go throw into, because then that's a consumer mindset. It's being able to, well, it's the month of March. Maybe April, can I make a list for the month of April and say, okay, before Starbucks comes, what can I exchange here? That's more of an entrepreneurial mindset, right? So it's about being able to get to the point where you get 3% of that back. That's your first asset. That's called a proof of concept, right? Becoming that person who can make the changes in their lives to make that happen, right? You may not be able to get there in day one. Can you get to the point in time where we can make a plan to help get there, provided that you get extended an offer, right? And then obviously going to build a network. This person has to go through the same process that you're going through. This person, this person, this person. Just because they can be your best friend, they can be the most well-intended person, they have to be able to identify their reasons as to why they go through, to see them in their dreams. Because of that predictability, you know that you're going to have a predictable asset, as opposed to just recruiting people and telling somebody that this water is going to make you fly. No. So that, hopefully that answered your previous question too. So it's always a mindset over, anyone can use a platform any way that they want, right? Same thing. You get to build your network, right? And ultimately speaking, the higher your network grows, at the end of the day, you see here, you have 3750 PV, you're generating a $1,136 passive income stream. You try to scale it out, that's at least 6-7 figures in real estate, 3 to 5 companies. So, same thing. You get to a point in time where you build your network up to the top of the bracket, where obviously you get 25% back. Where if you do it for 12 months, you're known as a Q12 in the business, right? And you'll be making anywhere from 50 to 60,000 a year. That could be enough for some people to start thinking about making different choices in their lives. 18 to 24 months, seen as a good, more than enough time. So it's not a quick making money. You're always going to add value to yourself. Be authentic to everyone that you add and which you're in contact with. As your influence grows, more income comes. And I want to share some big picture things, right? Obviously, if you're able to help somebody who's on your team get to that 7,500 PV, you get a 6% bonus from Amway, right? Now, this person could take 18 to 24 months. They could take 2 years, they could take 3 years, they could take 10 years, right? But the mentor is always going to add value. There's no financial transaction that happens. This is a bonus paid from Amway. So, again, it's just a platform where people choose to leverage it as how they leverage, right? But that means my mentor always has my best interest, right? Best interest, excuse me. And that's the biggest thing that was very important. You're able to help 3 people get to this level, you're known as an emerald in the business. 6 people, you're known as a diamond. The founders of Atlantis Leadership, Chuck and Uma, who will be on this call, they've helped 9 people get to that level. And they've been retired for over 20, about 27 years now from corporate America. So I just want to share, because, you know, I think this is always one of my favorite slides, right? And I know some of you guys know the answer, you guys may have your thoughts, but for the purpose of time, I want to just kind of share what my thought process was and what the correct answer is, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, it's A, duh. Because I mean, you know, right, in my company, there's a CEO, there's the VP, right, there's the directors, right, there's me, the senior manager. Like, I'm never gonna make more than them. They're never gonna make more than them, unless he steps down or something else happens. Never gonna make more than him, right? But this is kind of pyramidal. So I'm like, oh my God, does this mean that my job is actually what I'm putting my E-quadrant thinking, right? My E-quadrant thinking into here. So the correct answer is C, right? And I think that's what really changed a lot of things for me, because I was used to thinking that way, right? C is helping 6 people. The law of value is the number of people you serve and how well you serve them, right? It doesn't matter if A launched B, who launched C, and they have all this business on them. If I'm adding more value, that means that if Erica gets an offer to be a part of this business, she has the possibility of making more income than the person who launched her in the program. So it's not position, but performance. And obviously, there's travel incentives. The more you add value to people, the more, obviously, money, more travel, things of that nature are the back end of those things, right? Our mentors just came back from Hawaii. From their, I believe, 20th straight Diamond Club. Achievers. These are all expense paid trips. Your suitcase literally from the plane to the hotel. Right? And so for some people that aligns with a lot of their needs, right? And the whole idea here is to close out, right, is to honor the partnership. You know, it's the ability to want to learn and grow, operate with integrity and accountability, to make fact-based decisions, right? To be able to have that appreciation that someone's willing to take you through these multiple steps, and have a positive attitude. And most importantly, the willingness to accept mentorship. Ask those questions. Get that clarity. That's otherwise, if there's no foundation of trust, everything falls apart, honestly. Right? And here are the next steps. Take ownership of your learning moving forward. Right? Share your reflections. I know some of you guys, some of the groups hopefully are crickets, but share your reflections. You know, show that you're learning, and most importantly, that you're allowing someone to see how you think. Follow up, take next steps of the process moving forward, and rethink about your future desired state. Maybe this helps clarify a vision. Share that with your engaging partner, right? So that's all I have. And with that,
Alexia, you're on mute.
I think you are on mute, Eleka.
You can go ahead, Avinash. I think
Sure.
Eleka lost the iPad. Please continue.
Sure, Captain. Right, that was one of the best evaluation seminar conversations we ever heard of. And what I would do is I would request our audio video team to give a big round of applause for Dr. Eleka, please. And Pooja and I have witnessed a lot of evaluation seminars, but in our personal opinion, this was one of the best, very conversational, able to interact with everybody here. So we really thank Dr. Eleka for sharing and pouring his heart out today.
Absolutely.
Right?
Thank you, Eleka. Thank you.
All right. So before we actually move ahead, we would like to invite one couple that we cannot end today's night without actually calling upon this couple, right? So before we conclude tonight, we have one special couple that we would like to introduce, And Chuck and Uma come over 25 years of experience in this business, successfully mentoring and impacting thousands of people around the world through their coaching and mentorship program and a proven education system. They are well-respected and world-renowned speakers who educate people and prepare them for business ownership. Through their business, they were able to create an ongoing asset-based income, which allowed them to retire at a young age from corporate America and develop a dream lifestyle of their own choice, including travel and spending time with their three beautiful daughters. We are truly blessed to know them, and we know there is no couple more fitting or qualified to hear from tonight. It is our great honor to welcome them. Please put your hands together for our amazing leaders, Chuck and Uma Kakani.
Thank you. Thank you, Avinash and Pooja. We truly appreciate your warm welcome and kind words. Hi, everyone. Good evening to you all in North America and wherever you're logged in from. This business meeting is primarily for North America. But we do know that there are people logged in from Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and elsewhere. So welcome, everyone. Great to see you all. And hope you're having a great day, whichever time zone you're in. Like Avinash and Pooja had mentioned, we are Chuck and Uma Kakani. We live in South Lake, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas, Texas. This is home to us for the last 20 years plus now. Avinash and Pooja did mention, we have been part of this business program, not just for over 2 decades, but for 27 years now. Yes, you heard that right. Not 27 months or 27 weeks, but 27 years being part of this business. And we're truly proud of it. And honestly, we feel more refreshed today than when we got started 27 years ago. So we both were single, my wife and I at that time, when we saw this program. I was just a little under 24 years old, around 24 years old. My wife a couple of years younger than me, and you know my age, if you can add. When we saw this program, we both finished our master's in engineering, computer science, telecommunications, and we were your quadrant people, meaning that we both have a master's degree, we were climbing the corporate ladder, life was good. As a matter of fact, I was on the executive program track with my company, where you're hand selected and you have a separate track, right? And they invest in you quite a bit. So that's where I was. So there was no reason for me to move from my E-quadrant cushy job, good stuff, right? Until I saw this program, by the way, that completely changed our paradigms. And thanks to her mainly, okay? I tried to resist quite a bit, but that completely turned around our paradigm in the sense that I could realize that we can be entrepreneurs, without giving up our professional incomes at that time, necessarily at the same time, right, beforehand. And that's a fear of many professionals, I think. That's what we saw in this program, this coaching, this mentorship. And now we talk about apprenticeship program. We saw those things clearly. And tonight you heard from our speaker, Dr. Ileka Ifejika. What a phenomenal gentleman. We know Ileka being part of our organization. Coming in, we are, of course, they're indirect mentors. Okay, there are many, many great leaders Ileka has, in the organization between us and him. But nevertheless, tonight to see his conversation is truly a pleasure, and a job very well done, Ileka. We're truly proud of you. And absolutely, I had the pleasure of knowing you a little bit as you were coming up, rising in the team to good levels and all. And I'm sure everyone in the audience would agree with me that you must have got a lot of value from our speaker tonight. So absolutely, kudos to you, Lekha. Now, it must be clear to you, as it was clear to us 27 years back, that there's something fundamentally, radically different about our approach to this program. Anybody can actually come into Amway marketing plan or network marketing concepts. That's not a big deal. If you look sharp and walk around, I'm sure you'll be contacted by somebody. That's not unusual. But what's unusual is the rigor that teams like ours put into somebody, right? You must have noticed that a little bit. Intuitively, it might not make sense to you too much. You can't put a finger on it, what it is exactly. So today I'm explaining to you. We prepare people, like I talked about it. We educate people. We give them the experience of being around other entrepreneurs, like tonight, right? Finally, make no mistake about this. We are selective about who we work with. Why so? Because we do a lot of investment. In fact, currently we are, if you are about to be launched in the business, currently you will be part of the apprenticeship program, which I'll talk about in detail today. I believe we are doing the training, right, for the partners only part, the apprenticeship program in North America. So we will do that. So we do all these things. And therefore, you would not blame us, right? If we are selective about who we work with. We're extremely selective. Not everybody in these organizations do that. There are people who will tell you it's so easy and simple and get started and you don't have to do any work. By the way, if you hear anywhere that you don't have to do any work and you'll make a lot of money, you need to run away from that place. It's not true in this or anything else, in our experience, from our experience, anywhere in life in the world, okay? Take it from me, take it from us as 2.5 decades being entrepreneurs. So that is what it is. We are one of the groups that educate people, tell people exactly what it takes, because it's an investment for us too. Why do we want to have people around who have no business intent, right? So if you are going to be selected into this team, you can be assured that good qualified people who are experienced have come to that conclusion. They believe in your potential. They understand that you can succeed. And they're not going to do that to everybody, obviously. You have to show certain signs. There's certain homework to be done on your part, right? So these are things we understood very clearly, even a long time ago, even when the process was not so very well defined, like we do today, like we have today. That is the most exciting part. Now, coming back to our story, my wife and I, we have been married for 22 years now, just recently, a few days ago. Been part of this business for 27 years, known each other for 30 years. And 21 years back, no, 20 years back, I was able to walk away from my work, my job as a software engineer, architect, program manager. And that was February 20th of 2004. Yes, it's 20 years and 22 days now. 20 years and 22 days. Yes. Isn't that incredible? It looks like yesterday for me. And my wife did that a year before. 21 years of freedom for her, 20 years of freedom for me. And not because we made our money in real estate or technology or anything. This is our source of income. This is where we got our start. This is where we got our foundation for our wealth. And we are truly proud of that. And that's what the exciting part about this business is, the one that gave us choices and the options to do so. And you have the same thing, much better today. So what did we do after that? We have 3 children, 3 daughters. As a matter of fact, our oldest daughter is 20 years old. You'll see this young lady in the screen behind me. She's at the elite United States Naval Academy at Annapolis. She's going to be halfway through now. Hard to believe it or not, you know. And on graduation, she's going to be getting an undergrad, and all from one of the most elite academies in the world, and also going to be an officer in the United States Navy or the Marine Corps. And we are proud of her choices, especially given the contrast of her life growing up with us, traveling the world, having all this luxurious lifestyle, right, that we talk in FDS, and all the good stuff. And we're proud of her choices. Don't know how she got there, but it's a hard institute to get in, to stay in, and to get out. But it's a leadership institute. That's our attraction. And of course, you're serving the United States. And so our second daughter is currently in Paris. Actually, she's in the 11th grade. She's on a cultural exchange program, and for a week, actually, not too difficult. Spring break time. And our third one is a feisty 10-year-old. 3 girls, okay? Imagine that. And so we have traveled the world with these kids and done so many things that most people cannot do in one lifetime, folks. Not because of the money alone, because of money and time combination and peace of mind. That's what we owe to this business. Now, that begs the question, why are we on this call today? Just like how you have your FDS, we too have our FDS. It is said that a man or a woman without a vision shall perish. We certainly don't want to perish. One of our mentors, Mr. Britt, said a long time ago, you want to die young, retire young, okay? So while we are retired from our jobs, we are not retired from life, okay? The only people that are retired from life are, you know who, okay? So they're not moving. And so that's what it is. So that is the exciting part of this program. It gives you those choices, not to actually have a life of freedom. Let's define it positively, right? Retirement is finish, ending, negative, but freedom is positive, and that's what we are excited about. So today, we define our future desired state in terms of the legacy we can establish, the people we can impact, the leaders we can bring on. And in case you're looking around and wondering who that is, it's you all, okay? If you show enough signs. And that is the most exciting part about this. Now, all these great things would not be possible, but for my wonderful wife. She could have easily said, hey, we are done with all these things. I need to take care of my children and whatever. And she would be right. There are many people who have chosen to do that, and it's their right. We won't judge you if you do that. But she's equally, if not more, cause-oriented and purpose-driven as I am. Actually, a tad more than me, truth be told. So people talk about women empowerment, women entrepreneurship, and all these things, right? Lip service a lot outside most time. But through this opportunity and program, I'm proud to tell you that my wife is a truly empowered women entrepreneur leader who has earned the respect of thousands and thousands of people around the world. So I want you guys to listen to her for a few minutes because we owe a lot of her success. 90% of it I attribute to her. So, it's pretty well that you should listen to her for a few minutes. So here is Uma Katani.
All right. Thank you, Chair. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, okay.
Yes, Uma.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Uma Kakani. I used to be a network design engineer by profession. When we saw this program, Check and we both were singles. In fact, he's the one who invited me to an evaluation seminar that's happening in a hotel at that time. And the night I saw this, I was just very, very excited. I could not sleep that night. I could just see the potential of the business. I could just see how this business can go into different cities and different states and different countries. And I could just see the potential of this business. Of course, after 27 years in the business, Check and I have our business in about 52 different countries. And it's an amazing feeling to have income come in different currencies. It's a beautiful feeling. Of course, you're not even living there, but you get to have an income in that country, which is amazing. Of course, it didn't start that way. When we saw this program, I come from a very shy background. I did not want to talk in front of people. I did not want to ever hold a microphone or these days, be in front of a Zoom light, a ring light, I would say. And I thought this is for people who love being on the stage, who love holding a microphone, who are extroverts. And I thought this is for people like that. I was so wrong. I realized this business is independent of your personality. It doesn't depend on what personality you have. It doesn't matter if you're an extrovert or an introvert. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have. Like you can see, the speaker tonight is a PhD, and of course, a lot of people on this call have a lot of advanced degrees. But their success does not depend on how many degrees they have. All of them start at the same level. It doesn't depend on your skin color. It doesn't depend on your last name. It doesn't depend on where you came from. Any of those things. It only depends on 5 things we talked about. Are you growth oriented? Are you humble? Are you appreciative? Are you smart? And are you hungry? These are the 5 things we look for. And if you have them, definitely exhibit them to your engaging partner. That will elevate your chance of getting an offer and be part of this elite team. We truly believe that we would rather run with one person than drag 100 people. And if you're that one person, definitely show your enthusiasm and your excitement. I remember Check asked me to write down my future desired state when I was going through this process 27 years back. And I remember writing down, I want to be able to pay off my student loans. I want to be able to tear up those credit cards and have a good night's sleep because, having debt gave me sleepless nights. And, I wanted to be able to travel around the world. These are the things that I wanted to do. And we were able to accomplish that in this program. And we were able to, I was able to pay off my student loans a year or so into the program. And we traveled quite a bit. In fact, we just got back from Hawaii. This is our 20th trip to Hawaii in the last 20 years. And our daughters have been there every year since they were born, till my oldest was 18. And it's just an incredible feeling to be able to do that. My daughters have traveled around the world with us, go on to different parts of the world and be able to do that. Mind you, traveling just doesn't require money. It requires time to be able to spend with them and money, right? So we were able to do that because I walked away from my job at the ripe old age of 29 years old. I was 29 years old when I walked away from my network engineering job, and Chuck was 32 when he walked away from his. So we are full-time in this program, and we enjoy being able to do what we do when we wake up in the morning, not what we have to do every day. So wish you all the very best for the rest of the steps. And that, back to you, Chuck.
All right, thank you. And so, folks, I just want to conclude with two thoughts. One, the most important thing that anybody can invest in is their mindset, right? Because people let every and any thought process come into their mind. Actually, they let them live their rent free, even. And yet they chase investments like real estate. They believe the most expensive real estate is in Sydney, Australia, or in Manhattan, New York, or wherever. Manhattan for sure, okay. But it's not. It's between our 2 years. And while people are chasing all those great investments outside, have they chased the investments into their mind? Very few people do. Through this apprentice program and our business opportunity, you will learn that. You will definitely learn to make those changes. And how do you do that? You do that through the books you read, the talks you listen to, the people you associate with. Three components of the mindset change. So we have absolutely become disciplined in how and who we let into our mind, the thought process or the people. You have a golden opportunity here with your engaging partners, with the content that you're being exposed to while you're going to the wedding program and the apprenticeship, the selection for the apprenticeship program. So that is a most important part. And the last thing I would say is the overall impact, because today in the gig economy, um, there seem to be a lot of opportunity. At least it seems to be, right? There are freelance stuff you can do. There is Etsy's of the world. If you're art type, okay, you can sell your wares and whatever. Okay, you can do a lot of things. It looks like, but there's a long tail to all these things. That means there are few successes, but a long tail of people towards the tag end, right? That don't make too much money, and we call this a long tail effect of internet. So that's what it is. In everything you see a few successes, and so for every Taylor Swift, there's billion other artists, right? Trying to sell their albums. Okay, exactly a billion actually. And each making 10 cents, I think. But the thing is, through this program, you have this wonderful opportunity of education, of legacy, of impact, of being with the right team. And that's what we're excited about. Because at the end of the day, folks, anybody can make the money, or they think, okay, but few people can make a difference in people's lives. And that's what this program is. That's what we're excited about. So yeah, get back with your engaging partners, show your enthusiasm, show your accountability by finishing those talks, reading those books, sending your reflections. And we will hopefully see you at the other end of the wedding process. We wish you all the best. And once again, Dr. Ileka, absolutely great job. He's a doctor of pharmacology, folks, by the way. I'm sure he mentioned that. And that is pretty exciting. And I want to hand it back to Avinash and Pooja. By the way, a word about you guys. Great job, you folks. I know you have a great team behind you, assisting you with all these things. Nevertheless, to take charge of this, start on time, end on time. Kudos to you guys. A job very well done. And with that, over to you for any wrap up, any closing comment you have before we close out this session. So over to you, Avinash and Pooja.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you so much, Chuck and Uma, for sharing your experiences and taking your time to be with us today. Everyone, this concludes our session for today. For all the potential business owners on this webinar, please communicate with your engaging partners for your next steps in the process. For all the partners, as Chuck just mentioned, we will have an exclusive training session from not only Dr. Ileka, but also from Camps Chuck and Uma. Please now log in to the other Zoom link you were provided. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.